Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast where today we are interviewing Sahar Albazar, an Egyptian member of parliament and served as a deputy chair of the Foreign Relations Committee at the Egyptian House of Representatives. Recently elected as the lead in the IMF and the World Bank Group Women Parliamentarians Council, representing over 190 countries. Previously, Sahar was in the position of the president of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Forum of the Young Parliamentarians. She also headed the Harvard Women in Defense, Diplomacy and Development. And she was named as a Young Global Leader of the World Economic Forum, and the Yale University honored her as a World Fellow. She holds a Master of Public Administration from the Harvard Kennedy School. So welcome to World in 2050, Sahar. We are so excited to have you today.
I'm so excited to be with you. Thank you for hosting me. I'm so happy to be among you and all the listeners.
Sahar, so you've been at the forefront of women empowerment across the region, if not the entire world. So, since our podcast is specifically pertaining to the future of our world, what changes do you foresee in the next 20 years in the representation of women in the parliaments across the world?
And thank you for the question. It's very interesting. I believe that in the future, it will be more positive than now because we then will have our hard work results coming. We'll be gaining and winning the results of our efforts because a lot of efforts are being done on a grassroots level, on a political level, on international level, on civil society level and advocacy level. To increase the women representation in parliaments and even in political scene as a whole. So definitely this kind of efforts and advocacy and the right policies being in place in different countries, like quotas and representation percentages, will definitely have a positive result in the future, and we will see more women represented in parliaments, in ministerial cabinets, and hopefully in international organizations and boards of private sector companies too.
Fantastic. So you're predicting that there would be an equal representation between men and women in the near future.
No, more representation for women.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love that response because I love that response because in my last book, there was a particular chapter about women empowerment. And there was at a particular point of time, I see that period of time about 2500 BC or so, right, when women were more represented across the positions, the greater positions of the world for a particular reason, right? Which is when the agrarian society was settling down. Unlike the industrial society, in the agrarian society, the role of the women and the men are almost equal.
Nice.
Men sow, women sow. Men reap, women reap. Right?
That's
So
very
in an
interesting.
agrarian society, it's very equal role. Plus, women also handle the household affairs. So,
Yeah.
which means that in an agrarian society, when people were purely agricultural, women always had a higher role to play in the society. And
It's
then,
our nature. It's in our
absolutely,
nature. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Karine, do you
Uh,
want to?
Zahar, last time we met, actually we have been in my uh, let's say, home country of my soul in Armenia. And you were speaking about how important is not only generally human empowerment or women empowerment, but empowerment of yourself and being sustainable in your goals. So you gave a great TED talk, and it even inspired every single woman there, I should say. And I think actually we are very similar from the background where we come, and in your region, in the world, it has been very challenging geopolitically in last years. And what do you foresee in the future, specifically for your region, in these tensions of geopolitical situation, and how you see the unraveling of the power of your region in let's say next 20 years?
So to be honest, I believe that my region is full of opportunities and full of resources. And one day, once these kind of conflicts get resolved, the whole region will flourish and be more developed and really make use of its own resources, whether natural resources or human capital. But to reach that point, I believe that international community and the whole world order needs to prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution, and put a lot of effort on this while respecting international laws without any exceptions. We are all equal. We are all human beings, and we need to be treated equally. So once the today work and homework is done, respecting international laws, diplomacy, and conflict resolutions take place, I believe in a more nearer future, we can see more developed and more peaceful region in the Middle East.
Oh my god, I love that.
Thank
I love that. I love that idea of future.
you.
You think that this is going to be the problems are going to get resolved soon, where the world leaders are going to sit down and look at it in a very objective fashion rather than from a subjectivity or from an ally perspective? Do you really think that they are really going to sit down and talk through this, especially the world leaders and the world powers?
It will not happen like instantly. And unfortunately, I have to say that political decisions always driven by interests. So as long as they have the interest and the will and the their own benefit to sit down and talk about it and push for a resolution, it will only happen. So this year, for example, it is known as the year of elections. So, so amazingly, this year, a lot of countries are in stake and they have an interest to resolve conflicts because of the elections. So let's build on this for the time being. But I mean, this is not a sustainable way of seeing things. As I don't know if we've been taught in our education in the U.S. and elsewhere about human development and human rights and how equal the people are and how should we treat each other. I think it's time to educate world leaders the same, um, because they cannot preach for something and they do the total opposite. So the expectations for them is very high. But in the future, and again in the near future, this will change because the younger generation is more aware of what's happening everywhere. And now they have strong voices, and they are the ones who are pushing and using their votes as a tool to mobilize and to advocate for whatever they want for their own country and for the rest of the world. So I have a strong faith in the younger generation now.
So I've got a follow-up question about that, since you are talking about the younger generation part of it. Uh, do you really believe that the younger generation, with the influence of the media, especially the social media, and the post-truth, and the way a social media can be biased and can be manipulated by the politicians, do you really think that the younger generation would take a positive step towards that, towards resolving the challenges, or would it just escalate the challenge? And why do you think, whatever you're thinking?
I think the younger generation is smarter than this, because whatever lies and misinformation that can be spread all over the media, it will be discovered sooner or later. We've seen during different conflicts a lot of misinformation that even was addressed by world leaders and repeated for different in different occasions. But by time it was proven wrong. So that the I think we can say rumors have short age or short timeline for them to do an impact and influence, because truth always reveal. So yeah, so the younger generation will be influenced by misinformation and true facts, and by time they will choose the right side of the history and stand behind it.
Um, I very much like the idea that the younger generation is more clever and they will choose the right side. But being honest, the misinformation during the COVID pandemic and the usage of social media for misinformation brought to a huge amount of people that were against vaccination. Well, as a doctor, I know that each human being is absolutely empowered to decide about their own body. And that is no doubt. On another hand, if they're deciding based on the wrong facts, that is already another part of human rights, to have the right information and be able to decide based on the right information. So we are speaking now also about like information about the elections for a short time, but we as a foresight scientist are planning for a longer period of time. Like we have wrote a book about 2050, and the point is that we want to have not only the short time and very mixed up situations that we have, especially because of the connectivity of the globe now, but we want to think about 30 years from now. We want to think about 50 years from now. We want to think about 2500, not 2050. So, what do you think how Egypt will position itself in, let's say, 30 years from now and in 50 years from now, to have having encountering the North African region and the challenges that Africa has now, not only the country, not only your own elections, but in general?
Yeah. This is very important point, the distinction that you just made. And I have to say that I'm actually having this interview while I'm in Geneva, and I have seen the pandemic agreement after 3 years of negotiations not reaching an agreement, because again, as you said, there is like almost 2 million people signed a petition saying or calling for not to have this agreement because of conspiracy theories, and it's a paid campaign. And yeah, so you have people with agendas that are behind such movements, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, I am the one who's signing up for such campaigns. But it's our role, whether international organizations like WHO or others, and our role as scientists, as doctors, that we also have a voice and make sure that facts from our sides reach more number of people. Because again, they are using social media, we can use social media. And for everyone who receives both information, its own, he or she has the freedom to choose whatever she wants or he wants and can trust. And I am not sure, to be honest, when 2 million people sign up for this, are they the younger generations, or they could be the older generations? So again, for like we were running for awareness here in Geneva because of the agreement, calling for health for all, and it was filled by young people. We were in thousands advocating for health for all, because we know how this agreement is very important, especially to the developing countries and global south. So to your point, I hope that in the future, in 2050, and with the AI and other advanced technologies, the fake and other videos that can show someone speaking and it's not even him or her, I believe we can also use similar tools to make sure that other side of the story is being told. That's our role.
I have a follow up question to that. I mean, that means we need to be more clever to be able to distinguish between AI generated video and the real video. So we need to educate ourselves even more to be able to pull apart in one hand. In other hand, our people are getting their education now mostly from social media, which is the wrong way to get. So so we have a really a gap between what we need to be and what we are. No.
Yeah, but you can use the same technology to protect and prevent the misinformation. For example, like you can use AI itself as a tool to filter the misinformation. You can use AI for detectors for what is fake video and what is not fake video. There is always a good side in each technology comes up in our lives, as long as we catch up with it and we use it in the right way.
Oh my god, I like that. I like that. So we would empower the younger generation to use the AI in a better way. In the I mean, for the good of the human world, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah, AI for good.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, so we just wanted to follow up, since we are already on the subject of artificial intelligence and the development of the technology. I would love to get your inputs on, where do you see as the role of technology? What role would technology play in the future, especially in the field of policy making, especially in the field of politics? Would it solve these large world problems like gender inequality? What role can a technology play? You can just go berserk as far as this question is concerned.
I am a big fan of AI and the new technology. And I don't know how to look at it in a pessimistic way. It's always optimistic way. Um, it will ease our lives very much. And I was reading a book, and it was predicting that um, the technology will be around you in your own bedroom. Like when you sleep on your bed, your pillow will be analyzing your breath, maybe. When you go to your bathroom, the bathroom itself will analyze your urine and others. You don't need labs anymore.
That's
Uh,
our book. I believe that's a book. That's our book which we're reading.
I'm coming from the future, and I'm telling you, I read the book. So, so it's very interesting how you can use it to ease your life. And I'm actually currently working on the AI bill in Egypt, because I want to enable such technology and have it in Egypt, and use it in our government services, in our health and education services. Um, it definitely will ease lives for a lot of people, and will enhance it, and it will enhance our lives overall. Of course, there are a downside for everything, and there are risks at everything. For example, since the AI started, we can see that there are gender biases in whatever task that you give to ChatGPT or any other AI application. You definitely can see that the information that was fed to the AI was based on gender biased information. So it will not eventually be on the side of gender equality, but the positive thing is we're still at the beginning, so we can still work on the data and make sure it's free of biases, and that's the role of the private sector too. In Munich Security Conference, they had the AI accords. Of course, it's focusing on elections, but if they all of them came together and make sure it's ethical and it's free of biases, that will make a huge impact in the sector. So yeah, so I believe like there is no problem that we cannot solve as long as we have the will and we have the knowledge to solve it. Lastly, one of the risks, of course, is aerospace, militarizing aerospace and other, and use the AI in military and weapons. This needs international governance. It's not only national policies. We need international governance on how we are going to use such technology in alignment with international human laws and international human rights. So this is very important, and it's very crucial and urgent, because I don't see a lot of players in the international community trying to push for doing so, and the excuse is the AI and the technology is rapidly changing, so we cannot govern it. We need to wait until we see what it reaches. It will never stop, so it doesn't make sense for you to wait. Just govern it and update your governance by time. So yeah, I think we can have a safer future when we govern internationally the risks that we can predict, and we can have a very positive and very exciting future if we use the technology in the favor of human beings.
Um, Agree absolutely with you. I have two comments and another question for you.
Sure.
The one comment is about pillow analyzing your sleep. I love that idea because I'm with my first education pediatrician, and infant sudden death can be predicted if you have a pillow, and that pillow can analyze the sleep of a child, of a newborn.
Oh.
So this idea I was developing, and we are trying to have a project on that. So I love the idea of that, because I mean, we have really a possibility to erase a disease, a death for children, with just that, using an AI and a pillow that can analyze the sleep. So I love that idea, the first comment. The second comment, unfortunately, again, being a doctor, I know that ethics and governance are always behind the technology. We are, with the ethics and governance, running behind the technology, making some mistakes, realizing, oh my God, we did a mistake, and going back. But seeing now how the AI governance trying to keep up, I have real hope that humans became more intelligent and trying to not do the governance after mistakes, but trying to govern already during. So we have hope a little bit. And in the hopeful way, I mean, you have specifically been focusing on initiatives partnering to Sub-Saharan Africa. How you see the role of this region by 2050? What specific and unique opportunities you predicting would emerge in next 30 years for this specific area, and how you see the future there?
So again, Sub-Saharan Africa, and in general Africa, we have a lot of resources, natural resources, and we have a lot of human capital and huge population, that we need to capitalize on. Yet, you will find in such regions a lot of risks and conflicts, whether tribal, ethnic, racial, terrorism, extremism, and definitely also the health factor. Many diseases can occur in these regions. But now I feel like some countries in the region are now more aware of their potential, and they started to liberate themselves from different factors that stand between them and the country's development and progress. And that's very important, because we didn't have that in the past. So that makes the future totally different because of what's happening now. And I wish to see the African Union does reforms that really limit its own bureaucracy, so we can see faster and more effective actions to develop these countries. We want to see the agreement of the free trade among these countries active, and a lot of African countries now trading with them together, and totally tax free, and infrastructure that links these countries together. You can be in Geneva and just go to Rome, or go to France or whatever, by a bus, by a train, but you cannot do that when you are in Africa. Why? It's similar. It needs work on a local level so we can solve our internal challenges, and then we start working together and find this common interest. And I believe that the common interest, the first one would be economical, because when you have an economical stability in your country, you will have social stability, political stability, uh, and more brighter future for your own nation. Uh, so definitely, I am hopeful because I am currently we're witnessing changes that we didn't see in the past. So definitely, the future will be a little bit brighter than now.
I mean, I love that idea of the all over the world just take the bus and go somewhere, because that freedom that you have in Europe is really beautiful.
Yeah.
To live that freedom is really beautiful. And I love the idea of also having, opening up for the whole world. But I think that is so much challenging for politicians like you to solve that problems for normal people to enjoy that freedom. And we both, but specifically me, I love the future you are picturing for us. And I love the idea that this future gonna be brighter and better for the next generations. Do you have some like very short 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 predictions that are coming in next like 20, 30 years, and then we can check it like a time capsule in 20 years if your predictions met? Because I mean, you have had several ideas that we have spoken last time, they become true. So I very much hope that now you will give us, as positive as you are throughout the whole interview, some very nice ideas that we can check in 20 years and they become true too. Do you have some like short predictions? 1, 2, 3, 4 will become good for the planet Earth, not only for Sub-Saharan Africa.
Sure, but this service is not for free. We agreed on this. Future telling is not for free.
Okay, that's true. We spoke about that, but we are preparing with these interviews and podcasts for the next book, and you will be part of the next book. So,
Okay. No, I'm just joking. So yeah, so how I see the future, it will be a future that is enhanced and empowered by technology. And we will have robots helping us in housework and as teachers, maybe teacher assistants, because we cannot give up on our teachers. Not just yet. We will see them as nurses. Again, co-nurses. We cannot give up on our nurses. Not that just yet. Um, and I see, but that could be a lie or just a wishful thinking. I see that global north understood finally that we are living in one planet and we don't have another option but this planet for now. So they will do what they have to do and they fulfill their commitments towards climate change. Because without fulfilling these commitments, the future for global south will not be so bright because climate adaptation crises. So wishful thinking, the global north will feel the impact of climate on them and they will understand that they need to collaborate with global south as one planet. And then all of us, the whole planet will work together for a better solutions for the climate change crisis. I see it. I see it led by young well-educated generations who are more open for diversity, who are genuinely believe that we are all equal. It's not a textbook statement or just a verbal communication that can they just say in their speeches, but they genuinely understand that all human beings are equal and they work for this. Uh, because social media, with all its risks, it brought the world together. And now a 16 years old boy in the US can definitely know what's happening with a 10 years kid in India. He's going to school and what he's doing in his school. He can see that live, as if he's in India. So it brought us all close to each other. So with this, I feel like we will be more interconnected and hopefully more humane. How many are this now?
I mean, I think
Did
I
I
think
make
we have
sense?
I think I think we have enough, but if you have something more, we are really eager to listen to you because the ideas are beautiful.
One more thing. A project that I'm working on. I'm working on doing DNA tests for kids in orphanages because I want to reunite them with their families. So I hope that maybe in the future we can see tools that reunite refugees, reunite orphans, reunite uh, the kids who were went through human trafficking, and so we can bring back all these kids to their families. So I really hope that in the future it will be much easier and less expensive because this is very expensive project.
Oh my God, I know that it is expensive, but as my genetic heritage is affected by two big genocides of the humankind, uh, I'm so touched with that idea to try to, because I mean, you look for your family really in everywhere because the family is apart, and my family is very much affected from both sides. So I feel that so near to my heart, and thank you for doing that work. It's very important one, for one person, and each human being is important on this world. But I think that I want machine learning and AI do my housework, dusting, cleaning, and so on, that I can do the writing and the creative work,
Yes.
and not AI doing my writing, so I can do the dishes. So I would like the robots and everything, as you said, assistant me in the repetitive work so I can do the creative one, because I think the humans are better in that.
Yes,
Uh,
we are more creative.
and we are so thankful for you for being here. I am really amazed of the picture of future you actually really very thoughtful taught us now. And thank you very much, Dr. Varghese, being at our side, doing the, and I mean, Sangeeth, thank you for being here. Unfortunately, Damash couldn't join us, but we enjoyed and he missed really something.
This is the most amount of fun we would have ever had in the last 6 months.
Thank,
Exactly. And
thank you so much.
Sahar, thank you very much. And we hope we don't hope, we will use these ideas for our next edition of the book, because the ideas are great. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much that you made it happen. And we love you.
Love
Love
you
you.
back. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for hosting me. It's been a pleasure and I hope to see you in person very soon.
We want to, no, Sangeeth?